Welcome back, guys, and we're going to be continuing in this tutorial with our study of finding the equation of a circle. Depending on the information they give you, we need to use different methods. So we're now going to look at example 3 and example 4 in your booklet, but as we go through these, we want to make sure that we're doing the workings together and working them out together. So we're going to follow the steps in this tutorial to work out our answer. So example 3 here says find the equation of the circle which touches the line 3x minus 4y minus 3 equals 0 at the point A, which is 5, 3, which passes through the point B, which is minus 2, 4. So step 1 here is to help me figure out the method that I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a circle and a diagram to help me visualize the problem. So the first thing I'm going to do here is draw a circle. When I draw the circle, I can see that the point B, which is minus 2, 4, would be on this side of the circle, and A, which is 5, 3, would be on this side of the circle. Okay, it's telling me that the line or tangent that goes through the circle, and I know it's a tangent because it only goes through the circle at one point, has the equation 3x minus 4y minus 3 equals 0. But what we also have to see here is that when we have 2 points like this, we can connect those to form a chord. And we learned in the last tutorial that the perpendicular bisector of a chord goes through the center of a circle. So straight away I can see that my first protocol is going to be to find the midpoint, the slope, and eventually the equation of the perpendicular line to this chord. Now I also know from my study of tangents in a couple of tutorials ago that the perpendicular to a tangent, or the radius, has to go through the center, because the perpendicular to any tangent is really the radius, or. So if I want to find the center of my circle, which I do, to find the equation of the circle, I need to find an equation for this perpendicular bisector and for the radius, which is perpendicular to the tangent. And to do that, I'm going to follow these steps on the left-hand side. So step 2 now is going to ask me to find the midpoint of the line AB. So we're going to go to page 18 and we're going to use our midpoint formula. And when we do that, guys, our midpoint is x1 plus x2 all over 2, y1 plus y2 all over 2. And when we fill that in, what we should see is we have minus 2 plus 5 all over 2 and 4 plus 3 all over 2. So I get 3 over 2 and 7 over 2 as my midpoint. My next step is to find the slope of the chord AB. So I'm going to use my slope formula here in step 3. I know my slope formula again from page 18 in my log tables is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which means now I'm going to have 3 take away 4 over 5 minus 2. So I get minus 1 over 7. So my perpendicular slope is going to be 7. So now to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector for step 4, I'm going to use my midpoint as my x1, y1, and I'm going to use my perpendicular slope to find the equation of the perpendicular. Using my formula, y minus y1 is equal to m by x minus x1. So now we're going to sub those in and work it out. So we have y minus 7 over 2 is equal to 7 by x minus 3 over 2, which gives me y minus 7 over 2 is equal to 7x minus 21 over 2. And now I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of the fractions. When I multiply everything in here by 2, I get 2y minus 7 is equal to 14x minus 21. I'm going to bring my letters to one side and my numbers to the other, so I get minus 14x plus 2y is equal to minus 21 plus 7, which gives me minus 14. So now we're going to take a second, guys, pause the video here, make sure we add step 1, 2, 3 and 4, going back through them into our notes booklet, and then we're going to find the equation of the perpendicular to the tangent using the next set of steps. So step 5 asks me to find the slope of the tangent. And to do that, I'm going to need to use another formula from page 18, which is y is equal to mx plus c. So when I take my line 3 x minus 4y minus 3 is equal to 0. I need to isolate the y by bringing everything over to the other side. So I get minus 4x is equal to minus 3x plus 3. I'm going to divide everything by minus 4 to get the y fully by itself, which means here now I can see that y is going to be equal to 3 over 4x plus minus 3 over 4. And now I know that the number that I have in front of my x is my slope. So therefore m is equal to 3 over 4. So my perpendicular slope is going to be minus 4 over 3. Step 6 here now is to find the equation of that line. The equation of the line that's perpendicular to my tangent. I can see from my diagram that it goes through the point A, which is 5, 3. So I'm going to use 5, 3 as my x1, y1, and I'm going to use my perpendicular slope that I just found in the last question, or in the last step, minus 4 over 3 is my m. So I have y minus y1 is equal to m by x minus x1. So I have y minus 3 is equal to minus 4 over 3 by x minus 5. Again, I'm going to multiply both sides here by 3 to get rid of the fraction. When I multiply both sides here by 3, I get 3y minus 9 is equal to minus 4x plus 20. So now I bring the letters to one side to get a positive 4x plus 3y is equal to 20 plus 9, which is 29. So now we're going to try and put our two equations together for step 7 to use simultaneous equations. Now when I use simultaneous equations here, it's because I'm aiming to find the center of the circle. So let's try that now for step 7. So I have minus 14x plus 2y is equal to minus 14. I have 4x plus 3y is equal to 29. Personally, I'm going to try and get rid of the y's to try and keep the numbers small. So I'm going to times the top line by 3 and the bottom line by minus 2. So that means I'm going to have 14 times 3 gives me 42, so I get minus 42x plus 6y is equal to minus 42. Minus 2 by 4 gives me minus 8x minus 6y is equal to 29 times 2 is minus 58. Okay, so now I'm going to add the two lines together, which gets my 6's to cancel. Minus 42x minus 8x gives me minus 50x is equal to minus 42 minus 58 gives me minus 100. So when I divide both sides by minus 50, I get x is equal to 2. So now I'm going to find y using my equation. 4x plus 3y is equal to 29. Instead of x, I'm going to sub in my 2. Okay, happens at least once. Sorry guys. Let's get back to where we were. So instead of x, I'm going to sub in my 2, which gives me 4 times 2 plus 3x is equal to 29. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3x is equal to 29. I bring my 8 over and he becomes a minus, so 29 minus 8 gives me 21. Divide both sides by 3 and I get y is equal to 7. So now coming back over here for step 8, I can say that the center of my circle is going to be 2 and 7, and I can use this now to find my radius. So I know that the center of my circle is 2, 7. I know that I can take any other point on the circle, so I'm going to take A, which is 5, 3, and find the distance between them to get my radius. So I'm going to use my distance formula here, which is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and sub in my points, which means I'm going to have 5 minus 2 to be squared plus 3 minus 7 to be squared, which gives me 3 to be squared, which is 9, plus 4 to be squared, which is 16. So I get the square root of 25, which gives me 5 units as my radius. And the very last step we need to do here, guys, step 9, is to find the equation of the circle to answer the original question. So I'm going to use my formula from page 19, which tells me that x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared, where h and k are my center. So it's going to be x minus 2 squared plus y minus 7 squared is equal to my radius, which is 5 squared. So my final answer here is x minus 2 squared plus y minus 7 squared is equal to 25. Now, there was a lot in that, guys, so take a minute, pause the video, make sure this is added to our notes where we work through all of the 9 steps in our notes booklet, and then we're going to look at example 4. Okay? So example 4 is similar, but it is, you'll be happy to hear, a bit shorter. Example 4 says find the equation of the circle whose centre is on the line 3x minus y minus 7 equals 0 and which passes through the points A and B. So again, to start off here, the first thing I would always do is draw a sketch for step 1. Okay, so I know I'm going to have a circle and that the centre of that circle is going to be on a line. So this is going to be my centre and it's going to be on the line, and it's telling me that line is 3x minus y minus 7 equals 0. It then tells me I have 2 points on the circle, A which is 1, 1 and B which is 2 minus 1. So I'm going to say A is over here, which is 1, 1 and B is 2 minus 1. Okay, which forms a chord. So I know that the perpendicular bisector of that chord is going to go through the centre. Okay, so I just need to find the equation of that perpendicular bisector again, and then do simultaneous equations to solve this problem. So step 2 here is, again, I'm going to find the midpoint. These are the same steps we've done before, guys, so we're going to go a little bit faster through them, which is 1 plus 2 over 2 and 1 minus 1 over 2, which means I get 3 over 2 and 0 as my midpoint. My next step is going to be to find the slope of that chord. So using the slope formula again on page 18, okay, which gives me m is equal to minus 1 over 2 minus 1. So I get minus 2 over 1, which gives me minus 2, which means my perpendicular slope is going to be positive 1/2. My next step now is I'm going to find the equation of that perpendicular. For step 4, finding the equation of the perpendicular using the midpoint and the perpendicular slope. So I have y minus y1 is equal to m by x minus x1. So I have y minus 0 is equal to 1/2 by x minus 3 over 2. Okay, which means I'm going to have y is equal to 1/2 minus 3 over 4. Sorry, 1/2 x minus 3 over 4. I'm going to multiply everything by 4 to get rid of those fractions, which means I'm going to have 4y is equal to 2x minus 3. I'm going to bring my 2x over, so I get minus 2x plus 4y is equal to minus 3. So now I can use my perpendicular bisector and my equation of the line in step 5 to find the point of intersection, which is going to be the center of my circle. So again, it's another nice little practice for algebra of my equation of a line. Of my simultaneous equations. So we have minus 2x plus 4y is equal to minus 3. We have 3x minus y is equal to 7. So I'm going to multiply the bottom line by 4 to get the y's to cancel, which means I get minus 2x plus 4y is equal to minus 3. We have 12x minus 4y is equal to 28. So I can see here that my y's are going to cancel, and I'm going to get 10x is equal to 15. So 10x is equal to 25, which means when I divide both sides by 2 here, I have 25 divided by 10, which gives me 5 over 2. So my center is going to involve fractions this time. So now I'm going to take 3x minus y is equal to 7 and sub in my 5 over 2. So we have 3 by 5 over 2 minus y is equal to 7. 3 by 5 over 2 gives me 15 over 2 minus y is equal to 7. I'm going to bring my y over and my 7 across, so I get 15 over 2 minus 7 is equal to y. So we put in 15 over 2 minus 7 in our calculator if we don't like doing fractions, which gives me 1/2. So now I can see that the center of my circle is going to be 5/2.5. So therefore the center is going to be 5/2.5. My last step here is I'm going to find the radius. So I need to take the center, which I just found, and a point. So step 6 is to find the radius. So I'm going to take my center, which is 5/2.5. I'm going to take the point A, which is 1, 1. And I'm going to use my distance formula again from page 18 to find the center. So I'm going to have 1 minus 5/2 to be squared plus 1 minus 1/2 to be squared, which gives me minus 3/2 to be squared plus 1/2 to be squared, which gives me 9/4 plus 1/4, which gives me the square root of 10/4, which I'm going to leave as the square root of 10/4 units. Because I know my last step now, step 7, we're nearly there guys, is going to be to find the equation of the circle using my formula. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So we're going to have x minus 5/2, because remember the hk is my center, y minus 1/2 to be squared is equal to the square root of 10/4 to be squared. So I get x minus 5/2 to be squared plus y minus 1/2 to be squared is equal to 10/4, which is my final answer there now. Now guys, I know that was a long example again, so take a minute, go back through it, rewind, watch it again, add the steps into our notes copy, and then we're going to try a few questions. Thanks very much guys, see you tomorrow.